My name is Rajkumar Dhanavir Singh. I am going to teach 11-12 Sociology. Hello guys. Today I am going to teach unit number 1, Unity and Diversity from Indian Society, Sociology, class 12. Akoina angang oidingaidigi tadana adum lakpa India asi Unity in Diversity haidana akoina adum tadana lakpa wahi se adum tadana lai. India as a culturally diverse country, the term diversity implies different rather than inequalities. When we say India is a nation of great cultural diversity, we mean that there are many different types of social groups and communities living together. Koina diversity haiba sidai sida marksi tongan ba culture gi group mayam ama lai haibani manadaba inequalities mayam ama lai na haibanati. Aduna India si achowa nation nama oiba maramna tongan ba cultural diversity lai aduga communities sing asi punna so dum lai minari. Aduna there are communities with different cultural markers like language, religion, sect, race or caste. India is a pluralistic society. There is unity in diversity, but its excessive diversity becoming a challenge. India gi khaidoiba community sing asi tongan ba language da, religion da, sect da, aduga race amasung caste na khaido hale. India si asugumna yamna community tongan ba laiba country ma laiba maramna yamangi dana cultural diversity si yamangi dana India da chauba singnaba amadi adum oiri magi integrity da. When we diverse communities are also a part of larger entity like a nation, then difficulties may be created by competition or conflict between them. Cultural diversity can present challenges which arise from the fact that cultural identities are very powerful. They arouse intense passion and are often able to mobilize large number of people. This is the real challenge in the integrity of India. Cultural diversity si tongan ba kanu sing magi cultural identity sing asi laiba maramna cultural identity na hariba sisu yamna powerful oiba mayam mi kanglup ama pumna hekta humdana pubudana satpa ngamba maramna akhoi community sing asi marakta chauba akhoi magi conflict amasung competition mayam lakpona maram oidana India da chauba kanu mudi challenge hamadi adum oi. Cultural differences and haiba matamda maga loinari busi akoina khanbada economic amasung social inequalities singasina maram oidana atopa akoigi complicated kanu mayam amasu adum ohelle. Measures to address to the inequalities of injustice suffered by one community can provoke opposition from the communities. The situation gets worse when the scarce resources like water, jobs or government funds have to be shared. Koi punamang khange India sida punna leiminaribnina akoigi kanglup amana khudong chadaba hena kanu tawdaba akoigi resource chang manana kanu tawba share tawbu natabnina ising phangdaba adudagi thabakki awaba job opportunity leiraktaba adugumba mayamdana maram oidana akoigi kanu se India si problem achoba mu oiri. 1632 different languages lai India sida and dialects. Different religions, diversity in climatic condition, topography causing serious challenge to the country. Tongan ba loan 1632 leiba asi danatana tongan ba religion gi adagi tongan ba akoigi climatic condition da tongan ba mafam geographic kanu da leiba maramna akoigi India sida achouba magi integrity da achouba challenge amasu dum oiri. And now what about this community identity? Community hariba sing sigi magi identity singang naba masi kaida based tawge have matam da moisi they are based on the birth and belonging rather on some forms of acquired qualification or accomplishment. Aina lairik tamu waini aigi ina khulakpa paisa paibadu ngak natabida aina puuri buduna aigi community si belong tawe. Masigi identity si masi maramaduna by birth ni aduna ascribe ni masi aina oiningi haidana ai masi am oiningi haidana community atopam da ha oirege haiba yade aduna masigi community manung sida laiba sina maram lairiba mi singa sina moji they feel a very deep sense of security satisfaction in belonging to the communities ai community am khaki manung da ai si member am oina yaudun laiba sina ai si maduda ai chokthok sei amasung madudai du da ai kano khoi gi safe hoibigi feeling am adum phawe community identity is difficult to shake off even when we choose to disown them. Others may continue to identify us by those very markers of the belonging. Aina aigi community du thado ai logjar roi na traga ai yogjar roi thado ge na haiba si su maksi su amu yamna achoba difficulty am khak oiri maram di madu aina thado e haidana su atopa community amana di aigi hana oiri ba ai community do madu da oina ma identify aigi identity si madu gi hana ge aigi community belong to ri bu da dum oi. Community feeling is universal. Community feeling and have pochi mi kudimak the loinamak laibung actani. Every person kudimak the community feeling lay. Everyone has a motherland, a mother tongue, a family, a faith. Mi kudimaki hoigi tazawa, mahaki hoigi magi motherland, magi ponapam lamdam, adagi magi family, magi tazawa loinamak tongan loi lady. And we all are equally committed to our respective identities. Akoi punamang na sumadugi poto loinamak respect tawi aigi kanodo aigi community du aina yam lu na khanjai. Our community provides us the cultural values through which we comprehend the world. The process of socialization. So in sociology, socialization process is a very important topic. And this very process of socialization involves continuous dialogue with our significant surroundings, such as parents, kins, family, and above all, very importantly, community. Thus, this community is a very important part of our identity. Ai community sida masina ai identity do maduda atopa community da show tawdoribani maramaduna community hariba si aina belong to riba mi amana belong to riba community is yamta important oi magi punsida. Community conflicts are very hard to deal with since each side think of other side as a hated enemy and there is a tendency to exaggerate the virtues of one's own side as well as the vices of the other side. It is very hard for people on either side to see that they are constructing matching but reverse mirror of each other. Haibadi akoina community conflict and haiba pochi akoi India da yamna toina thokpa akoi community yamna leiba maram na community conflict and haiba pochi yamna toina thokpa problem ama khangni. Community amakak belong to riba group ani khak ki marakta conflict tholakpa matamda community amada belong to riba mi ama khangna maksi atopa community da leiribadu magi khwaidigi chawbu yengnabani haibasi khalle adugi mathakta aina aigi community du khatagi khanba aduga atopa community dugi di pura aina madu mang tangnana ba khanba dugumba kanu se feeling si adum lei maram masina masigi feeling ase nakan animakta lainabani pura on akoi mingjen da yenga mai onjanaraga maduda tariba mami gumdana akoi community feeling si ma aigi mami duna aingonda khaliba aina mami du da khalib duga chap manana masigi feeling se yamna tugutchada hangoina na atopa kanu singsibu khalle. And now regionalism in India. Regionalism mana hariba pochi India is made up of different regions. Regionalism in India is deeply rooted in country's diversity of Indian language, culture, tribes, and religions. However, religion is also increased by the geographical concentration of these identity markers in special part and fueled by a sense of regional deprivation. Regionalism and haiba pochi akhoi tongan ba language sing culture tongan ba adudagi tongan ba tribe sing amsung religion tongan bana sem jaragasu regionalism and haribasi adu khaktanatna maki lairuriba geographical area adunasu magi kanusi sense of regional kanusi adum regionalism che adum lehele khudam moina harabada ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯅꯣꯔꯠ ꯏꯁꯇꯔꯟ ꯁꯥꯏꯠꯀꯤ ꯃꯤꯁꯤꯡ ꯑꯗꯨꯗꯒꯤ ꯁꯥꯎꯠꯀꯤ ꯏꯟꯗꯤꯌꯥꯒꯤ ꯁꯥꯏꯠꯀꯤ ꯃꯤꯁꯤꯡ ꯃꯈꯣꯏ ꯁꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯇꯧꯗꯅ ꯃꯈꯣꯏꯁꯤꯡ ꯑꯁꯤꯅ ꯃꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯆꯥꯛꯊꯨꯡ ꯐꯪꯗ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯅ ꯈꯟꯕ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯒ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯀꯔꯤꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯕꯨ ꯅꯣꯔꯠ ꯈꯨꯗꯝ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯕꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯅꯣꯔꯠ ꯏꯁꯇ ꯂꯩꯔꯤꯕ ꯃꯤꯁꯤꯡ ꯑꯁꯤꯕꯨ ꯃꯦꯟꯂꯦꯟꯗ ꯂꯩꯔꯤꯕ ꯏꯟꯗꯤꯌꯟ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯁꯤꯡꯁꯤꯅ ꯗ꯭ꯔꯥꯕꯤꯗꯤꯌꯟ ꯑꯦꯁꯤꯌꯟ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯁꯤꯡꯁꯤꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯕꯨ ꯍꯟꯊꯅ ꯌꯦꯡꯕꯤꯔꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯅ ꯈꯟꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯨꯝꯕꯒꯤ ꯋꯥꯈꯜꯗꯒꯤ ꯉꯁꯥꯏ ꯔꯤꯖꯅꯦꯂꯤꯖꯝꯁꯤꯁꯨ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯙꯔꯃ ꯃꯥꯟꯅꯗ꯭ꯔꯒꯁꯨ ꯂꯦꯡꯒ꯭ꯋꯦꯖ ꯃꯥꯟꯅꯗ꯭ꯔꯒꯁꯨ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯄꯣꯛꯑꯦ. Virtually, Indian federalism has been a means of accommodating these regional emotions. Asigumba mayam ama khenaba leiragasu regional feeling gi magi tongan ba feeling mayam ama khenaba leijaragasu akhoi India gi constitution da federal system am federalism gi system am khak yauribnina akhoi kaino sing ase loina ma accommodate tawduna thame. Language plays a sentimental role in the sphere of regionalism. Language na hariba pochi yamna maru oiba pot ama khangni masi regionalism sagatpa matamda yamna sentimental oiba part ama khak adum lawi. However, it is not always that it influence when create a state. For example, akoina India da 2000 ki ge doida akoi gi Chhattisgarh, Uttaranchal, Jharkhand haidana makoina anouba state sing semak matamda maduda akoi gi language ki adu yam chawba role legi de. Now religious related issues regarding the problem in facing by India. Minority protection. Minority usually involves some sense of relative disadvantage. When minority is used without any qualification, it implies a relatively small as disadvantaged group. Akoina minority na haiba matamda akoigi masi religion da ngakta base tawraga madudai du da akoibu magi disadvantage mayam ma phang kanu tawre magi educational qualification ni khangde natraga magi qualification magi skill oidabuna maram oidana disadvantage mayam phang oire haiba matamda minority ni haidana khalle. However, in sociological sense of minority implies that members of the minority form a collective. That is, they have a sense of group solidarity, a feeling of togetherness and belonging. This linked to disadvantage because the experience of being subjected, prejudiced, and discrimination usually heightens feeling in intra-group loyal interest. Groups may be a minority in statistical sense. Magi number yengbu matamda group amakhak ID minority ni gaina khanbadi yai. However, in sociological sense, Kudam moina harabada, such as people who are left-handed or people who are born in 29th February are not minorities. Mi masing yamde, haibadi kudam moina harabada, akoigi 29th February the pokpa mi masing natraga left-handed kangu sing and haiba potu masing yamjadragasu makoi sing asa sociological sense da minority haidana kaudi. Maramdi minority in a high target sociological sense da collectivity dakalai. Although these groups are not minorities in sociological sense because they do not form a collectivity. Religious or cultural minority groups needs special protection because of the demographic dominance of majority. Adugu nasaigi left-handed natraga 29 February the pokpa mi sing asi makhoisi akoina minority singdi adubu religious amsung cultural minority kangu sing masing yamjadaba religion gi da belong to mi sing adudagi cultural minority oiba kangu sing asi makhoi sing asi akoigi mapham du da demographic kanu du dai du da hena yamba mapham religion masing atopana hena yamba member masing hena yamba mapham sing da tari makhoi sing adudi protection dagar lai moidi. These groups are potentially vulnerable. They must face the risk that the majority community will capture political power and use the state machineries to suppress their religious or cultural institutions, ultimately forcing them to abandon their identity. Adum India da dum thengnadan leiba mapham atopa jaga sing da thengnadan India gi tongan mapham sing da thengnadan leiba problem ni. Haibadi minority sing asina moi sing asi moi politically majority phangma ngamde mokoi majority kanu sing kangu sing na adum political power si moi na adum pai. So we have been talking about community. So now a related topic, that is communalism. Let's see what is communalism. Communalism refers to aggressive chauvinism based on religious identity. Chauvinism is itself an attitude that sees one's own group as the only legitimate or the worthy group, with other groups seen as inferior, illegitimate, and opposed. Communalism mana hariba potsi masi akhoi religious identity masagi kanosidai magi dharma duna khwaidigi chumme madu legitimate oiba madu kanuna yaba kanuni adu atopa opposite ta leiriba kangu sing asibuna makhoi gi kanu sing ase illegitimate oi adu akhoi gi dharma dagi moina handhabani ga haiba wakhan si communalism sida adum phawe. Communism is sometimes about politics, not about all about religion. However, akhoi communalism mana haiba potsi akhoi religion da ngakta oide marak ta ma se matam kanu dadi akhoi gi marak tadi ma se akhoi gi politics ki yamna mari leinaba pot am oide. Although communalists are intensely involved with religion, there is no necessary relationship between personal belief and communalism. Communalism and Harvisi Dharmaga am the Mari Naragasu, Masim Aina Tazaba Musung communalism duga, religion ga, Masi religion da Yamna involved of Jaragasu Madu Matampunamokta Oidi, necessary Oidi. A communalist may or may not be a devout person. Ma Dharma da Yama Tazaba mi Obi communalist communal Oibunu mi Maka. And devout person may not be a communalist. Dharma da yama thajaba midusu communalist heta oigada budi nati. Communalists cultivates aggressive political identity and are prepared to condemn or attack everyone who does not share their identity. Communalism mana haribu potsi India da akhoi gi kano yamna toina taba akhoi gi kano khangni particular word am khangni masigi kano si atopa magi opposite lairiba kano singasi community singasi yam aggressive oiba kano am khakta yengba mieng am khangni masina atopa community sibu moina condemn dawi attack dawi aduna makhoi gi kano singasi identity manadaba kano singasi moina attack dawi. One of the most important feature of the communalism is that religious identity overrides everything else. It also constructs large and diverse group as singular and homogeneous. Masina yamna chawba akhoi group yamna chawng kano leijaraga su masina magi dharma gi wang akta base taw natraga su achawba group amma hekta communalism sina heta sagat pa yai. For example of communal riot in our country, anti-Sikh riots in 1984 and Gujarat riots. Makhoi sing asi akhoi gi particular community amakhakta community mayam ama punjhallaga politically kanu obi ai natraga kari maram amana hekta obi ai makhoi akhoi gi chauba group ama hekta semak paduni. So we have been talking about the religion so far, and a term secularism is very important here to discuss. The Indian meaning of secularism and Western meaning of secularism is quite different. In Indian meaning of secularism, secular implies that state does not favor any religion. This implies equal respect for all religions rather than separation and distancing. India dadi secularism hairagadi India gi magi constitution na dharma amabu atamnaba natraga particular dharma amabu mabu khoigi mangondana hena lumna yengbagi wafamdu natab hek leiriba dharma khoi chap manaba rights amasung chap manaba miengda yengba adubuni aduga in the Western context secularism implies separation of church and state magi government duga magi dharma duga khaidoknabuduni. This implies the progressive retreat of religion from public life. Dharma secularism and hariba word asi karino na haragadi yam seng na haragadi masi akhoi gi dharma da yam na hakchandaba akhoi gi yam na progressive oiba public life amakhakta changjallakpaduni mas. It was converted from a mandatory obligation to a voluntary personal practice. Secularization was related to the arrival of modernity and the rise of science and rationality as the alternatives to religious ways of understanding the world. Ngasai aina hagibuduni secularism and hariba word asi ahamada dharma da base tawraga lairamba du dharma da base tawraktabida akhoi gi science da modern world asidai sida punna leiminaba yananaba masi sakanorum da hena rationality da hena changjanba mieng da lakpa kanoduni. One difficult issue that arises from this is tension between the Western sense of state maintaining distance from religion and the Indian sense of state giving equal respect to all religion. So, the next topic is civil society, which is a very popular word in this modern society. Civil society is nothing but it is a non-state and non-market part of the public domain in which individuals get together voluntarily to create institutions and organizations. Civil society in Hairaga Koina, Masigi Sidaisida, government gi Kanosu Nataba, the government is Sunataba, Aduga, Akoi marketing Kano Haraga Akogi, Sendong Pangbaya Badumba Pot Sunataba, missing Karamba missing voluntarily Masama Sana, Punjalaga Semba, Adumba organization, Natraga institutions in Adunia Koina, civil society in Haribs. Civil society is the name given to the arena which lies beyond the private domain of the family but outside the domain of the state and the market. Civil society in a Haribasi Karamba group no in a Havi Matamda, Akogi family, Aigi Yam the personal or private Kanusida is Tola Aba. Aduga government, Amazon, Akogi Chendong Pangbaya market, Akoina, Tawag job, near job company, Haidana Kanbadumba, Sunataba, Adumba, organizing group Adudania Koina, civil society, Haidana Koina Kauribs. It is a sphere of active citizenship. Masi Shengna Haragadi Yamna Ahogi citizen Kano Indiagi Natraga Hoki country to Ginatraga state to Magi citizenship Sida Yamna Kano conscious Ovni Haiden Lawushai. Individuals take up social issues. So these people in the who belong to these civil societies take up social issues, try to influence the state or make demands on it. Governments moina lobby tawwa natraga moisi influence tawwa moi force tawwa tawnana wo honai moisi kano sing khoi civil society singna karigidamakta to pursue their collective interests or seek support for a variety of causes. Maram mayam khoi mayam gi kananabugi damakta ne. The main criteria for inclusion in civil society are that the organization should not be state controlled and should not be purely profit-making entity. Akoi civil society na high taragadi masi pot singa se akoi government na kan akoi state na masida influence ta wi ngamdaba aduga makoi singa se purely moi profit making body ma sungoi oidaba haidi khudong chaba launna ba gi kanu du sungoi oidaba oigada bani civil society habs adubu ngasi gi civil society asi today, the activities of civil society organizations have wide range of issues, including advocacy and lobbying activities with national as well as international agencies, as well as active participation in various movements. Howjikti, akogi civil society singasi achauba moi phajna well organized tawraba kanu singasina akogi national amsung international agency singasibu lobby tawduna makoina akogi achau movement mayam ma participate taw active participate taw. The issues taken up range from tribal struggle for land rights, devolution of urban government, campaigns against rape and violence against women, primary education reforms, etc. are the main issues taken up by the civil societies of today. Media also had started to play an important role in the civil societies initiatives. So today I conclude here.